One of the nice things about having somebody else do videos or do things to show you what's going on is if you make a mistake, I could easily make a mistake, delete that video, start over, and come back thinking, hey, I know what I'm doing. That's not always fair to somebody else watching. They may have looked at that last video and said, oh, that's easy enough, and then somebody else might look at it and said, oh, no, you didn't do that right. You forgot something, and I did. So here's what we're going to do. I already have the screws out of the bridge. We're going to take the bridge off. We are removing the mainspring barrel because this goes in first, and it's going to be the first part to be installed because the barrel goes on top. So in my haste, my rushing to get things done, I forgot that part. Not a big deal. Hopefully somebody can learn from that and say, oh, okay, we're going to do that gear first, that wheel, and then we'll put the mainspring barrel on. It happens. I've done, I don't know how many of these already, 5 or 6, maybe more, and you just forget things. Especially when I'm making a video, I concentrate on keeping things in the shot, kind of rushing ahead. It happens. So learn from other mistakes. Others' mistake, meaning mine. Here's our final screw. So that's taking up 2 minutes of our next video, and that's okay. If all goes well, we'll have this thing ticking shortly. Now these screws are in, I'm going to lean on them. Give everything a test. There's a piece of fuzz. We can remove that. I'm going to come back to the other side. Check my lever for the hacking. That's working good. Yes, I'm rushing through this because I'm backing up what we just did. Okay. Now you can see how that wheel fits under that mainspring barrel. Lesson learned, and I should have noticed it because of this top gear sitting up high. Okay. Our next wheel is going to go like so. Let me get my bridge ready. We have the pinion, second-hand pinion going next, and I'm going to put a little 90-10 on that shift, just a smear of 90-10, and that's going to drop right in the middle there. Everything's nesting together nicely. So we have 1, 2, 3 pivots, 3 staffs, and on the bridge there's 4 jewels. So there's one more item that goes in. Let's make sure we're in the shot, and that would be the escape wheel. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 shafts. When we lay this in, I just gently eyeball it, line it up, and lay it in there. Give it a nudge here and there. I'm going to tilt, take a look at things, tilt the movement, take a loop to these jewels, make sure the staffs are coming through the jewels. And there's one that's giving me trouble, and that is the escape wheel. That's got to be moved just a bit. Okay. It can be tedious, it can take time. Okay, come on. Sometimes they just land perfectly, other times they do not. This might be on a little too far. What you don't want to do is force it. You don't want to send anything home until you are absolutely sure things are lined up. And this one's giving me a bit of trouble. I don't know why. Okay. Yeah, some of this is out of the shot. Alright, something's not right. Something is off. It shouldn't take this long to line things up. So let's find out what is going on. That gear goes there, that one's lined up there. Okay. This can be the tedious part of the operation. It can be quite frustrating, believe it or not. Some days you get in and you drop that on and it lines up in 2 seconds. Other times, like now, it's being a pain. Alright, I'm going to take this to the loop. Everything's looking good, but this one part is not setting. This gear doesn't appear to be setting properly. Wow, wait. Okay, this is really taking some time. I really need to regroup here and figure out what is the major malfunction. So we start over. That's in place where it should be. And that is as well. Hopefully I'm in the shot here, otherwise you're just listening to me. This can be the frustrating, tedious part of servicing a watch. The last thing you want is to let it get the best of you. Try to force it, and you get something bent, broken, misaligned, you name it. I want to avoid that. It's a little off. So, back in with the bridge. That's a good sign. Okay, come on, a little more. I think our center wheel, which is the second-hand pinion, is the one giving us trouble. Okay. It fell into place, and if I nudge the mainspring barrel, there you go. Everything's working beautifully. So, yeah, that kind of work might take a little bit of time. It's going to get tedious. Don't let it get the best of you. Just regroup, start over, and you'll be fine. And if I'm preaching to the choir, then I'm preaching to the choir. We can start setting that screw. I've literally had that bridge installed in 3 to 5 seconds. Lay it on, falls right in, tighten it up, done. What did that take us? That was a good 5 minutes of tinkering. Don't let it bother you. If you have to, step away. Step away from it. Have a drink. Alright, that screw fell out because I dropped it. Okay. I would call that the train bridge, I guess you could call it. I don't know. Let's give it a test. Look at that, nice and slick. So 1, 2, 3, 4 pivots. Staffs coming through those jewels. We can lubricate with a little 90-10. Here we go. Our smallest oiler. And I like to go over these later with a loop to make sure we have oil in those. There's a little well in there that has the shaft coming through. I like to make sure they're oiled before I do any final assembly. We're going to take this out, flip it over, and lubricate the other side. The center we don't have to do since we already did that one. And here's the escape wheel, ready to go. So we're not going to have time to do the balance on this go around for obvious reasons. We'll do that in the next one. So this is already running into 15 minutes, and we'll see you on the next video.